Okay, so welcome to week 9. You guys made it this far. We're more than halfway done, I think. Yeah, 16 weeks. I think it's really only 15 weeks if you count just the weeks we actually have assignments. So this week is a lot like the rough draft week. I think it was week 3, maybe week 4. I think it was week 3. And so again, this week I suggest kind of starting out by looking at the peer review questions. Um, I'm actually going to add a copy of the rubric here too, so that everyone can check that out. Again, because I want everybody to have that in the back of their mind as well. So let me see here. This one ought to be good. And let me open that up just to be sure. I'm going to put it right up top here. And so when you open that up, hopefully it's the right rubric. Got my fingers crossed on that. Yes, I believe so. Yes. So it's a sample rubric, not the same as the last one, but I mean, it's the same rubric. It's just I've made different circles, I think. It might even be the exact same one. But anyways, take a look at this rubric again. You've gotten one back now. And hopefully, by the time you see this video, you'll either have your second one back or you'll have your second one back in just a few days. And look at it, obviously. Look at the one that you got back for your essay. Check out my comments, and then, of course, check out your essay and see what I'm talking about. But here, this should start to make a little bit more sense now that you've seen it twice. Focus, I'm talking about thesis mostly. Content, I'm talking about whether or not the content backs up the thesis and just the content in general, whether or not you follow the guidelines for the essay, for the writing project. Organization, I'm looking mostly at paragraphing, but I also look at intro and conclusion there. So if you lose points there, this is where those points will be deducted from. Expression, that's mostly word choice and wordiness. I'm trying to promote concise writing. That's, saying the same thing with a fewer amount of words. Trying to promote that with this column. And then mechanics is everything else, spelling, grammar, MLA formatting, works cited, all that stuff. So check that out first, because that's going to be important when you're grading, or excuse me, looking through someone else's essay, because it's a good idea to just kind of look at that rubric and then imagine how you would grade their essay, because then whenever you start grading it and you ask yourself, well, why am I giving them 6 points rather than 8 points, or why am I giving them 7 points rather than 10 points? When you ask yourself those questions, it makes it a little bit more clear about what you think they should change, because remember, the assignment is once you finish your rough draft, which is your main job for this week is to get the rough draft done. But next week, I mean, you can even start on it this week, but it's just as soon as people start posting essays, you can start getting the second half of this assignment done, and that requires you to provide feedback to 2 classmates this week. And here I talk about using 3 questions from page 1 and 2 questions from page 2 of the peer review questions. That's a suggestion, not necessarily a requirement, but what is a requirement is having 5 pieces of constructive feedback. Remember, constructive means that you're suggesting a change of some kind. So actually I'm going to change the wording in that a little bit. Oops. Just to make sure I emphasize that. Also be sure that you provide at least 5 pieces of constructive criticism. I don't know why I look at the keyboard when I type, even though I'm not actually looking at anything. Also be sure that you provide at least 5 pieces of constructive criticism. That means feedback that suggests a change. Okay. And also add in here that it's optional. What are they called? The peer review questions? And that's as long as you have your 5 pieces of feedback. That's really the only thing that I'm looking at here, is that whether or not you have 5 pieces of constructive feedback. The peer review questions are just suggestions to kind of get you thinking about certain things, but I think you can also do that with the rubric. So anyways, back to this. Of course, take a look at the rubric, take a look at the peer review questions, and then to refresh your memory on kind of why we do this process and how to do it properly, I definitely suggest looking at the peer review process video. That'll help as well. And so once you're done doing kind of reviewing these things, come down here, click on the rough draft, and in here, just like last time, create a thread and submit your rough draft. And so I would just put my name. And then in here I would just attach the file, or you can paste, or excuse me, down here I would attach the file and then hit submit. But I'm not going to do that because that'll screw up everything because I'm actually a student. But anyways, that's the assignment for this week. And overall, actually, sorry, the assignment for this week is really just to turn in your rough draft. The 5 pieces of feedback aren't actually due until next Wednesday. But like I said, as soon as people start posting their essays, you can go ahead and get started on the feedback as well. Just as long as you submit your feedback by the end of week 10. By the end of week 9, all you need is a rough draft. But anyways, that's it for this week. And I'm going to post a video for week 10. It'll basically review the same thing I just reviewed here, but nonetheless, have a good week.